Hi there, good afternoon. You've tuned into ET now, and this is Market Fatafat with me, Shell D'Souza. And today with me, I have Shrishti Sharma. Very good afternoon to you, Shrishti.
Good afternoon.
And looks like Monday blues are kicking in for the benchmark indices. We've been doing absolutely nothing over the course of the last 2 hours of trading session. We've just been holding on to those levels. Very pretty much a range-bound trading session coming in for the benchmark indices. It's the broader markets that are staging a very smart comeback. If you look at the small cap index, it's trading higher by about 0.6%. If you look at the mid cap index, trading higher by about 0.4%. But one thing is very key to know, that the market breadth is still tilted in the favor of the advances. So expecting the next 2 hours of trading session, things to be stable as it is right now. Talking about the sectoral indices then, all the sectoral indices are trying to hold on to some sort of a gain. It's just the Nifty bag is in the negative territory, but apart from that, all of them are in the positive territory, with the IT index leading from the front, 1.5% uptick coming in for the IT index, followed by Realty index, trading higher by about 1.2%. But yes, no doubt we are seeing a very lackluster trade coming for the benchmark indices, but it's key to note we are awaiting a lot of important macro cues, be it India, the CPI inflation data, or the IIP data, or for the matter of fact, through the course of the week, you will have US CPI data as well as the FOMC meeting. So a lot of cues that we are awaiting. So for now, the benchmark indices definitely taking it very easy.
Okay, so markets are seen to be taking a breather, but let's move forward. But because there are a lot of stocks in action, so on to the show, we'll be telling you all the stocks that are buzzing either in the back of the technicals or in the back of the news flow. Onto the technical front, onto the show, welcome on board Sameet Chavan, as well as on the research side, we have Ashesha as well as Harsh joining us onto the show. A very good afternoon to all of you. And onto the show, let's kickstart taking the first stock that is in spotlight, and that is Glenmark Life Sciences. As we know that the promoter, Glenmark Pharma, is looking to offload some bit of a stake in this particular subsidiary, wherein they want to use that fund to get away with some of the debt and some new names coming into the bids for Glenmark Life Sciences, wherein Sameet Pharma Ventures as well as Nirma Group are in the competition to acquire Glenmark Life Sciences. The firm will reportedly sell the API developer and manufacturer in the bid to deleverage. And on the back of this particular news flow, we are seeing the stock sitting with the gains of around 3.5% and touching that 610 mark.
All right, that's Glenmark Life for you, seeing good up move. There's another counter that's also seeing good up move in trade today, and that is SEPC. That particular counter has actually seen a good up move because it's completed a sewer management project in Iraq's Basra, this actually allows the company now to participate in bigger contracts in some of the Middle Eastern countries. So at one point in time, you had the stock that saw an uptick of about 5% or so. But now, if you can see, it's trading flat. It's actually holding on to gains of about 4.5%. So this one is a counter to watch out for.
Okay, moving on, the power sector is really powering in the recent past. And Sameet, coming to you for your first stock, you have picked up RAC. The stock is at a 52-week high levels, but how much more gains you are looking forward to for RAC?
See, clearly this, power financing companies are on roll. Recently we witnessed a good rally in this counters. If we look at it from a slightly broader perspective, this stocks are trading at their 5 months, in fact 5 years highest level. So there has been no stopping. It has already entered an uncharted territory. So from here on, 2017 highs of 167 can be tasted quite soon. So overall, the bias remains positive. The only thing, since in last 3 weeks, there has been a vertical rally in this counter from the levels of 130. So some sort of profit booking or mild consolidation would be on card. But any dip from current level would be a good buying opportunity, considering the fact there's a strong support that is placed around 145, 150. So on a dip, yes, this stock looks quite promising. And from here on, as I said, 166, 167, these are the next levels to watch out for.
Okay, so that's the technical take on REC. But moving on, and Ashesha, coming to you for your first stock, you have picked up Go Fashion. That particular counter is under pressure since morning. Tell us the news flow.
Well, yes, the stock is under acute pressure today. It is sitting with a cut of nearly 4.5%, and this is on account of a block deal that happened today. Non-promoter group Sequoia Capital was looking to fully exit the company. In fact, reports suggested that they are intending to settle about 10.2% stake in the company at a floor price of 1135 rupees per share, which indicated a 5% discount to Friday's closing price. Today, of course, a block deal has happened where 11% equity changed hands in a block deal that took place. So, on account of this, non-promoter group Sequoia Capital intending to sell stake in the company, and on account of the subsequent block deal, the stock is in pressure today.
That is Go Fashion. That is under immense pressure in today's trading session after the huge block deal that took place in the particular counter. But Harsh, Cochin Shipyard, why is this one abuzz in trade today?
Well, order inflows continue for this counter as well as defense stocks at large. But let's talk about Cochin Shipyard in specific. Cheryl, you're looking at a 3.4% gain on the back of a 300 crore rupee order win to be executed over the next 2 years. Let's delve into the order a little bit. Cochin Shipyard has been selected as the L1 bidder for Indian Navy for MR or midlife upgrade of an Indian naval ship. Contract value I did speak about, 300 crore on a top line of roughly 3,000 crore. That continues to be a substantial addition, and over a 2-year period also looks quite decent on that count. So the positives continue for Cochin Shipyard, up 3.4% on the back of that order win.
Okay, but another stock that is seeing good uptake, that is Indus Stars. And Sameet, you have picked this particular counter that's already up 3.5%. How much more steam is left there? What's your take on that?
See, generally this stock is known for its deception underperformance, but the kind of price performance this stock has seen over the past couple of weeks, it looks encouraging. Since morning we are seeing good traction in this counter, and stock is on the verge of a breakout from its recent hurdles of 163, 164. So once these levels are surpassed, we could see the stock heading towards its 200-day moving average, which is placed in the zone of 174, 176. So at least with a short-term perspective, the stock looks good. Around 174, 175, one can certainly review the position. But as of now, for a momentum trade, yes, the stock looks good at current level, keeping the stop loss below 158, and as I said, 174, 176. These are the next levels to watch out for.
All right, moving on, let's talk about CMS Infosys. And this particular counter is buzzing in today's trading session. It saw an uptick of as much as 7.5%. There you go. It's near the day's highest point, biggest gain in over a month or so. Funds such as SBI Mutual Fund, IIFL Mutual Fund, Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, as well as ValueQuest have bought shares in CMS Infosystems after the promoter sold about 13.75% stake on Friday. And post the fact that you have marquee names entering this particular counter, you can see that up move coming in, 7.5% uptick for CMS Infosystems on the fact that funds have bought shares post promoter went ahead with the stake sale.
Okay, moving on, and Harsh, coming to you for your next stock, that is Info Edge. Tell us what's happening here.
Small divestment that's happened in Info Edge. What we're seeing on the back of that is around a 60 odd crore divestment. That's super small. No real reason for the stock to be buzzing 3% on the back of that, but nonetheless, Info Edge has made a small divestment in one of its group companies.
All right, moving on then, Sameet, that's the fundamental reason why Info Edge is abuzz in today's trading session. But technically, where is Info Edge headed from here on? You did see a blip during the earnings, after the earnings, but from there on, the stock is trying to make some comeback.
Yes, in fact, on the same day itself, when we had seen a massive plunge in the stock recovered and confirmed its short-term breakout from the hurdles of 4,000. So if you look at the volume since then, it has been rising continuously, and this stock seems to have a interesting price pattern. Stock has already confirmed its breakout and consolidating for last couple of weeks, and today we are seeing good traction on the verge of a breakout. So that would confirm a chart configuration which can be known as a bullish flag pattern. So once 4300 is taken out, we could see this stock even heading towards 4600, 4650 in probably next couple of weeks time. So overall chart structure looks quite promising, and in the near term we expect this stock to do well. On the low side, if you see 4000, 4100 has become a sacrosanct support zone for this counter.
Okay, the next stock in focus that we're going to be talking about is SCI. This particular counter is also holding itself in green, and that's on the back of Economic Times report when they say that the government is likely to invite the financial bids for the privatization of SCI, but that will be after the listing of its non-core asset business, that is Shipping Corporation of India Land and Assets. The listing is expected to be done later this month, and the government has hyped off its non-core assets of SCI in a separate entity that is valued around 2,392 crores as of March 31st. Now, as a part of the demerger process, this SCI land and assets will be listed on the stock exchanges, and every shareholder of SCI will get one share of SCI LAL. So that is the particular news flow. The privatization is on the cards, and that's why you are seeing the stock holding itself in the green of 3.5%.
Right, all of these divestment candidates in news in today's trading session. But let's talk about Chemplast Sanmar. And Sameet, why is this counter making it to your list? We've already seen good set of gains come in for the stock, at least when you see over the last 3 months. If you look at their YTD performance or even their one-year performance, has been pretty muted. But do you think that it will be able to build on to the gains that it has been trying to post over the last 3 months?
Yes, sir. Referring to Chemplast, it is trading around 480. On Friday, the stock first confirmed its breakout, from the levels of 460, 465. If you look at the volume activity has been, quite good in the recent rally. Overall, if you see, stock has been, accumulating from the lower levels of 420, 440, and now it has started to give some sort of action. So technically speaking, stock has already confirmed its breakout, and today since morning we are seeing good traction. Although stock has come off a bit from its morning high, but overall if you see 460, 465 is a strong support zone, and we expect this stock to do well in the near term. So as far as levels are concerned, 516 is our near term target for this particular counter. On the low side now, if you see 460, 465 would act as a very strong support. So as a trader, one can keep a stop loss somewhere around 457. And can go long at current level, and the target would be around 560.
Okay, so good targets coming in for Chemplast Sanmar. But moving on, and Ashesha coming to you for the next one. Maharashtra Seamless is what you have picked up. What's the buzz out here?
Well, yes, the company is now a debt-free company. Yesterday, company informed the exchanges that they've voluntarily repaid their outstanding term loan to the tune of 234 crores. This entire voluntary repayment of debt was from internal accruals, and this is the second time in the last 8 months that the company has prepaid their financial liabilities. And now, on account of this prepayment, the company is now a net debt-free company. So on account of this update that has come in, the stock is in focus today. It in fact is off the highest point of the day, but despite that, sitting on with gains of nearly 1.5%.
All right, moving on. Sameet, AB Capital, this one supposedly is a favorite of a lot of people, a lot of technical analysts, fundamental analysts, pretty gung-ho about AB Capital, no doubt. Stellar returns coming in for this particular counter over the last 1 year. But if you see the performance over the last few months, it looks like it's in a consolidatory phase. Where do you think AB Capital is headed from year on? And are you also one of those in the bullish camp?
Yes, certainly. In fact, the kind of price performance this particular counter has, it has been a steady move. If you see, is last 6 to 7 months price action. Yes, recently stock slipped into a consolidation mode, but again, in last couple of days, the buying interest resumed from the lower levels. Since morning, we are seeing good traction. Stock is on the verge of a breakout, from the levels of 177, 178. And considering its higher degree time frame, weekly and monthly chart, we expect this stock to continue its outperformance, wherein 185, 190, these are the short term levels for this particular counter, and sooner or later will not be surprised to see this stock even surpassing 200 marks. So overall, the chart structure looks quite bullish, and on the lower side, if you see 170, 165, the base has already shifted from the levels of 158 towards 165 and 170.
Okay, so maybe 200 is coming for AB Capital, but Harsh, coming to you for your next stock. All these railway counters have done phenomenally well in the past 6 months. Titagarh Wagon is you have picked up today. Tell us what's buzzing out here.
Well, yes, continues to be in the news, Srishti, as you correctly pointed out. Let's look at Titagarh. Actually, they've offered 76 lakh shares to Small Cap World Fund Inc. for 380 rupees a piece. That's looking to raise around 290 odd crore of rupees on the back of that issue. Mind you, the stock price currently trading at around 417. So of course, some amount of negative sentiment. In fact, it fell to almost 407 or below in earlier during the day today itself. So you saw that bit of negative sentiment creep in already. That negative sentiment continuing in the day today on the back of a slightly lower price at which the shares have been offered versus the current market price. You're seeing 380 rupees a share is what around 6% odd of the diluted shareholding is currently being offered at. Currently 12 crore outstanding shares that the company has. Another 76 odd lakh shares to be issued, around 6% or so being diluted. So the earnings will also see a bit of a dilution, but nonetheless, Titagarh Wagons in the news on the back of that.
All right, that's Titagarh Wagon for you. Let's talk about Coforge Summit. And before I come to you to get a technical view on Coforge, you had MK that actually met the management of Coforge, and Coforge has given them a very good sort of commentary, saying that they are confident of delivering about 13 to 16% of constant currency revenue growth in FY24. They have not observed any deterioration in the demand environment as well. So positive comments coming in from Coforge management to MK. But talking about the charts, do you think that this bullishness is reflecting in the charts, or what's your take coming in for Coforge?
Kind of, in and out performance from the entire IT space recently. But hopefully, the price-wise pain is behind us. And, as far as, Coforge is concerned, this stock has already given a, decent move from the lows of 3600, 3700. And it is now challenging in this important cluster of resistances, at least around 4600, 4700. So, hopefully we expect this move to extend a bit and stock would surpass 4700 in the near term. So we expect, Coforge to do well within the IT space, wherein, 4900 or even 5000 levels clearly on cards as far as Coforge is concerned. If you look at the recent price action, the base has already been shifted higher. Earlier it was somewhere around 3700, 3800. It has now shifted to 4200. So overall, we are quite optimistic on the entire IT space, and we like Coforge from this particular space. As far as, support levels are concerned, on the near term perspective, 4400 to 4300 seems to be a very strong support zone for Coforge.
All right, that is the take coming in for Coforge. But let's talk about APL Apollo Tubes, and this particular counter is in focus because Anand Rathi has come out with a note where they've initiated coverage on the stock with a buy rating. So you had the stock that actually rose to as much as a 3-month high levels on an intraday basis. If you look at what Anand Rathi is saying, that they've initiated coverage with a buy rating, target price of 1500 rupees per share, which indicates an upside of about 22% to the last closing price. They're saying they're estimating revenue, core profit and PAT to grow at a CAGR of 33%, 32% and 38% respectively over FY23 to 25. Also, they're seeing incremental market share gains for the company on rising utilization levels as well as rising demand for the structural steel tube. So, thumbs up coming in from Anand Rathi. They've initiated coverage, buy rating, 1500 is the stock, is the target that they've given. Stock is up 3%, currently trading around 1,260 rupees per share.
Okay, moving on, and let's shift focus to the auto space. And TVS Motors, they seem to be buzzing out there on the back of two particular news flow on the positive side. Firstly is that the company has raised their fund in their captive financing subsidiary, that is TVS Credit Services, and the fund investment has been done by Premji Invest, where they have raised 480 crores through a combination of primary and secondary investment, wherein Premji Invest will acquire 9.7% equity stake in TVS Credit for rupees 737 crores. So that is the first positive news flow on that TVS Motors. And the second news flow is where TVS Motors has raised their stake in Swiss e-mobility group. They have bought additional 25% stake in a cash consideration, and that is seen to be another positive news flow. The stock was gaining in the opening trade, wherein that the stock held with the gains of around 2 to 3%, but now seen to be drifting lower, but still holding itself in green.
All right, moving on, Samit, let's talk about SAMIL, and where do you see this auto ang player headed from here on? Samvardhana Motherson, where do you see this one headed?
See, as we speak, this stock is already trading at its 2-month high. Recently, stock gave a vertical rally from the levels of 65, then, slipped into a consolidation mode, and again the upward trajectory has resumed. So, technically speaking, it has confirmed a breakout, from the cup and handle pattern, and from here on 90, 92, these are the levels to watch out for. So, overall, the chart structure is quite promising. We expect this stock to do well, and on the low side, if you see 80, 82 has become a very strong support zone. So any dip from current level would be a good buying opportunity. 90, 92 clearly on cards.
All right, moving on, let's talk about Castrol India, and this particular challenger has hit its highest level in over a month. And last time I checked, the stock was trading higher by about 3.7%. Let's see where the stock is trading right now. That's Castrol India for you. If you look at why the stock is buzzing in trade, because Prabhudas Leeladhar has recommended accumulating the stock for an upside target of 127 rupees per share while keeping a stop loss at around 111 rupees per share. They've termed it as a medium-term technical pick. They're saying that the company, that the stock has indicated a bullish candle pattern on the daily chart and moving past the significant 50-day exponential moving averages. So on back of that, call coming in from Prabhudas Leeladhar, the fact that they're asking investors to look at the stock and accumulate it with a target set at around 127 rupees per share. You can see Castrol buzzing in trade, 3% up more.
Okay, and moving on in an exclusive chat with Prashant Tripathi, MD and CEO of Max Life Insurance, 18 hours, Bhavya Dua chatted with him about the company's composite license plans, wherein synergies of relationship with Axis Bank and the reduction of pledge levels by the promoters. Listed into all he had to say in this exclusive conversation. Let's listen into that.
So we recently had a chat about Max Life tying up with the MSMEs in UP.
Yes.
When we're talking about life insurance and general insurance, then another thing that comes into picture is the composite licensing, which has again been in talks. So is Max interested in taking one, and if yes, then which part of non-life insurance segment would you be interested to start with when it comes to composite
Absolutely,
licensing?
I see this as a very positive opportunity for all players, and especially for players of our size who have built scale over a period of time. This is like a dream opportunity, and hence Max Life Insurance will be very keen. As you know, we are present in most of the cities with large partnerships. We have our own 60,000 agents. We have close to about 400 branches. Currently, they all carry life insurance. Imagine a potential opportunity where they could carry other products also, life insurance or other insurance product. It will be a great opportunity. So we'll be very keen. We will be looking at organic as well as inorganic opportunities. And if I were to look at opportunity beyond life insurance, I think the most contiguous one is health insurance. We ourselves sell a lot of health in form of riders, etc. So health will be an opportunity that will be immediately interested in pursuing.
Right now, we also had the Odisha train tragedy. So how many claims came from there, and how have you tackled those?
So we actually prepared, and I will at this point in time I'll also like to acknowledge the message from IRDAI. I think everybody at IRDAI went overboard to come up with immediate guidelines that we need to be prepared. So we are completely prepared. I am not sure if we have received any claims, but we could come back to you and confirm. But I don't think we have received claims. We will check and come back to you.
Okay. So talking about Axis has taken Max now, right? It has increased recently. So how has that impacted the Max Life Insurance's working?
So we have had a 13-year-old relationship with Axis Bank, firstly as a distribution partner, and they have been a big stakeholder in our business, firstly as distribution partners, because they do about 55% of our new sales. And in addition, we have served 25 lakhs customers. Our sum assured at Axis Bank is about 3.8 lakhs crore. So it's a very big business that we've written so far. With this deep relationship, I think both parties came together in 2020 to see if being a mere distributor is good enough, or we should take the partnership to the next level. And Axis Bank actually agreed to invest close to about 20% in the stake of Max Life Insurance so that they become the promoter. In the first tranche, they have already done 13%. The balance 7 is going to happen over next few quarters. So eventually, in a few quarters, there will be 20% owners of the company. But what has changed, because that is they have become promoter of Max Life Insurance. They have a significant participation in our board. All the senior management, most senior people from Axis Bank participate in our board. And I think the strategic direction, not just as distributor, but as a parent, that the company requires, that's available from Axis Bank. As you know, some of the top leaders of Axis Bank have significant experience in insurance itself. So all that is a big blessing for Max Life Insurance, and I'm very hopeful and optimistic that this relationship will go leaps and bounds in the new avatar that Axis Bank has taken in our company.
Right. So the next step post this deal is the simplification of the corporate structure. So how much time will that take? What are the timelines about that?
I think that process will begin after Axis's stake has gone to 20%. And I will say, depending on how long it takes, that's when the process will start. So we are really out looking at least 12 to 18 months in that process. So it will take us a while actually to get there, but that's the eventual plan that we have.
So also higher stake, higher value also means higher cash flowing towards Max Financial. So what would be done with that cash? Has any plans been made about that?
Yes, we are growing quite rapidly. There are huge plans that we have. Actually, we are making tons of investments in our proprietary channels. Our proprietary channels are growing quite rapidly. Last year, we grew about 43%. This year, we are targeting to grow, a significant number. And that is going to require a lot of capital. And that capital is going to come from some of the investments. If Axis were to make the investment, we will use that capital, otherwise we'll raise capital.
Okay. And 85% of the promoter shareholding is pledged. So how committed are they?
I think it is definitely a question in the shareholder zone. And as management, I can only say that the promoters are very committed to reduce the overall pledge levels, and they have been working in that direction. And I'm sure with the plans that they put in place, it will reduce the pledge levels quite drastically.
All right, that's the exclusive interview that my colleague had with Max Life CEO. But on that note, we slip into a break on this edition of Market Fatafat. When we come back, we'll continue taking through all the stocks buzzing. Don't go anywhere.